Karma Mini.
शुचौ देशे प्रतिष्ठाप्य स्थिरम् आसनमात्मनः नात्युच्छ्रितं नातिनीचं चैलाजिनकुशोत्तरं तत्रैकाग्रं मनः कृत्वा यतचित्तेन्द्रियक्रियः उपविश्यासने युञ्ज्यात् योगम् आत्मविशुद्धये. Further, very difficult rules and regulations. Shuchau deshe pratisthapya sthiram asanam atmanah. To practice yoga, one should go to a secluded place and should lay kusha grass on the ground and then cover it with a deer skin and a soft cloth. The seat should neither be too high nor too low and should be situated in a sacred place. The yogi should then sit on it very firmly and should practice yoga by controlling the mind and the senses, purifying the heart and fixing the mind on one point. First of all, Shucha Udeshe Pratisthapya. A person should go to Shuchi means clean. Clean means place which is sattvic. It cannot be practiced in cities and villages which are in mode of passion. One has to go to sattvic, that means jungles and mountains, natural places. So it is very difficult. Who is willing to go to jungle or mountains? But this is the first prerequisite. Before explaining anything, Krishna tells this. You control your material desires, you finish the feelings of possessiveness, and you leave everything and you go to a secluded place. And then sthiram asanam atmanaha. You sit down in a firm pose. So initially, various asanas and postures a person is supposed to do, and finally one has to just sit in one place and close all the activities of the senses. Shanai Shanai Uparamed. No senses should be indulged in activities, and a person is expected not to sleep, not to eat, and not to drink also. For many years, person has to keep on sitting like this. So sometimes that is why the flesh is eaten away by the insects, because you have to sit for many years, hundreds and thousands of years also. Sometimes there are anthills, and there are examples like Hiranyakashipu was doing this tapasya. The flesh was eaten away by the insects. Or many yogis, the ants made hill on their bodies. So very severe tapasya. So without shaking, without worrying, person should fix his intelligence, his mind on one point. So if a person is not having positive knowledge of God, and out of love person is always thinking of Krishna, then this mechanical way of material detachment or fixing mind on Krishna, that is recommended. So it's very tough. Again, Krishna is telling secluded sacred place, secluded sacred place. Now also if you go to the places, Haridwar, Rishikesh and upwards, you'll find yogis sitting there. But they don't do in group. If at all they are doing, they do not know. Some yoga societies are sprung up. But that is not as per the instructions given in Sankhya Yoga. In this chapter, either by Lord Krishna who is explaining to Arjuna, or Kapil Muni who explained the same process to Devhuti. Alone you have to go, and you don't get carried away by, what will happen, who will take care of me. Person should be completely dependent upon God. One should not fear, some snake may come, tiger may come. Even if tiger is coming, you cannot look towards the tiger. You keep on staring at the tip of nose, as Krishna mentions here. Samam kaya shirogrivam dharayan achalam sthiraha sampreksha nasikagram swam dishascha navalokayan prashantatma vigatabhir brahmachari vrate sthitaha manas sanyamya macchitto yukta asita matparaha. One should hold one's body, neck and head in straight line, not in a loose posture. And eyes should be half closed, here it is mentioned. And stare steadily at the tip of the nose. Samprekshya nasikagram swam. It is not mentioned you close your eyes completely. With your eyes, you should stare at the tip of the nose. So if you open your eyes completely, you may get distracted by the motion of various objects. And if you close completely, then you may fall asleep. So in many yoga societies, they are telling close the eyes completely. And most of them, they fall asleep and they think, oh yes, I'm feeling such great peace. But this peace is not the result of any yoga or meditation. It is because we had fallen asleep. So completely closing the eyes is not recommended. Eyes are half closed, staring at the tip of nose. And prashantatma vigat bhir, person should be completely devoid of fear. And because they have strong faith in God, God is there in the heart of all the living entities. So God will protect me if He wants to protect. And if He wants to finish this body, then He can finish it. So a person is fearless. So sitting in a jungle, there are no lights, nobody to help you, no protection. Alone you have to keep on sitting. So many wild animals, but a person should be fearless. And brahmachari vrate sthitaha, following brahmacharya is very important. Now, unfortunately, some people are diluting the meaning also of the brahmacharya. Brahmacharya, they are telling simply you discuss about spiritual life, about Brahma. That is called brahmacharya. No, the definition of brahmacharya is given by various sages. It is like sage Yagyavalkya says, Karmana manasa vacha sarvavasthatu sarvada sarvatra maithunya parityago brahmacharyam prachakshate. Karmana manasa vacha means in actions, in mind, and in speech. Sarvavasthasu, in all situations, all circumstances, at all times. Sarvatra maithunya parityago, one should give up sex life. That is called brahmacharya. So if a person wants to indulge in sex life, sorry sir, it is not possible. So in Gyan school and in Ashtanga Yoga school, it is strict no, one cannot indulge in sex life at all. But in the Bhakti school, sex life is allowed. That also Krishna will explain in the 10th chapter. So sex life is allowed for the grahasthas, but as per the regulative principles. Not for simply carnal enjoyment, but for bringing a good soul, an advanced spiritual soul in this world, so that he can help himself and others in attaining the goal of life. So for this, proper rules and regulations are there governing the sex life also. So such a person is admitted a regulated householder in the Bhakti school, because Bhakti school is very, very powerful, because there is so much pleasure. Triptatma, a person is so much satisfied in engaging in service of Krishna that he is able to automatically come out of the clutches of sensual pleasures, even though he is living in the household affairs. But in other schools, because there is no pleasure of acting in service of Krishna, you are simply cultivating knowledge, impersonal knowledge, or you are sitting somewhere and trying to mechanically and artificially control the senses by not looking at anything, by not eating anything, by not interacting with anybody, and mechanically controlling the airs within the body, thus pacifying the mind. Mechanical process you are doing. But bhakti is spontaneous process. When you engage in service of Krishna, Krishna gives knowledge from the heart. There is attraction, so much pleasure in such activity that automatically person gives up lower pleasures of sense enjoyment. So such sex life is allowed in the Bhakti school, that also under regulation for producing good children. But otherwise in other schools it is strict no. First of all, before following the process of Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga, you give up your family life and sex life. You come to jungle, Himalayas, mountains, and there you sit alone without any fear, eyes half closed, body, neck, head in straight line, and in this way you learn to meditate, focus mind on one point. And further it is mentioned, mana sanyamya, now mind should be controlled, not so that it should be focused on candlelight or sun, moon, or simply our breath. Ultimately, so that mat chittaha, Krishna has mentioned here, one should meditate upon me, mat chittaha. Consciousness should be fixed on me. Direct word is used here, but nobody tells this, that you meditate on Krishna. So by controlling the mind, mat chittaha yukta asit mat paraha. Mat paraha means Krishna should be made the goal of life. The goal of life is not to get some powers or to awaken your kundalini and do some magical feats for gaining public attention. Ultimately, whatever you attain, that will be lost once we leave the body. So sensible person who understands yoga also knows the purpose of yoga. And the purpose is mat paraha. Going to Krishna should be made the ultimate aim of life.